Welcome to the Bobby O Show. My name is Bob Potsner, and I've got a great show lined up for you today. One of my favorite organizations in the greater Danbury area, maybe even statewide, is Ann's Place. And I have representatives of Ann's Place today who are going to talk to us about the great things they do and what their mission is, etc. And we have some videos also to show you, so it's going to be a fun show to watch about a very heart-wrenching topic. But before we do that, I'm dedicating today's show. This is a person unrelated to the Ann's Place situation, but I'm dedicating my show today to Melissa Steidel, a longtime resident of Richfield, Connecticut. I went to her funeral this afternoon, and there was a great poem that was read by her son, Kurt Steidel, that I want to read to you as part of my dedication to the wonderful lady, Melissa Steidel. May we have enough happiness to keep us free, enough sorrow to keep us human, enough hope to keep us happy, enough failure to keep us humble, enough success to keep us eager, enough friends to give us comfort, enough faith to banish depression, and enough determination to make each day better than yesterday. Melissa, may you rest in peace, and your family as well. Ann's Place. What is Ann's Place? What does it do? What's its mission? And I, of course, always go to the website to make sure I know what it's all about. And I have some material I want to just read into us. I'll say into the record, for example, being the lawyer that I am. At Ann's Place, our mission is to provide comfort, support, and resources to people living with cancer and to their loved ones. We assist you and your loved ones to create a unique pathway through cancer to improve your quality of life. At Ann's Place, all are welcome. Professional counseling, support groups, wellness activities, and more provided at no charge. We are a compassionate nonprofit serving Connecticut and Hudson Valley, New York, with professional counseling, and I think they're even spreading beyond those areas. We'll talk about that. Professional counseling, support groups, wellness activities, and educational resources. Thousands of people facing cancer come to us for support, all at no charge. We assist you and your loved ones to create a unique pathway through cancer that enhances your quality of life. Whether you're looking for support and resources for your cancer or for a family member's cancer, or would like to give back by donating your time or your funds, welcome to our community. Services are available online and in person. And they also have other languages that they deal with as well. I won't read to you the language that I have on the website I think it's in Spanish, but this is a very diverse community. Hello, Shannon, Cobb, how are you?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thanks for having us on your show.
Thank you very much. Shannon, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do, what your title is, and you'll introduce your other guest.
I'm the president and CEO of Ann's Place. I am going on 10 years this November that I've been there, and it is an amazing place. So I have the joy of working with 18 staff and 800 volunteers to serve and support people facing cancer and people who have lost somebody to cancer. And with me I have Osagie, and Uwa has been with Ann's Place for 2 years now?
Yep, over 2 years.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yep, so again, my name's Osagie. I've been at Ann's Place for a little over 2 years, and I'm our manager of community partnerships. So I do a lot of the relationship making and garnering sponsors and spreading outreach at Ann's Place, and tying in also to our 2 ongoing expansions in the greater Waterbury and Sudden Fairfield region. So it's been a joy working with our community.
What does community partnerships mean?
So it's multifaceted. The way I look at it is establishing and maintaining relationships with our community partners, as in supporters, whether that's in the form of donors or community fundraisers and more, but also finding ways to share within the community Ann's Place as a resource. And we even recently formed the outreach committee in order to do so, on top of our existing sponsorship committee, Friends of Greater Waterbury Committee, and also Southern Fairfield. So it's a group effort that helps to get the word out and connect us to the people who need our resources the most.
It's the old expression, it takes a village. Shannon, before I show the video, I want to tell you that one of my favorite spots in the building, it's a gorgeous facility, is I love there's a big thing on the wall of all the different people, individuals, corporations, businesses of any all type, who contribute to building Ann's Place. And I think anyone who goes to the Ann's Place should check out that as you walk in the front door. It's a very responsive position by the community that you rely on. We'll get in a few minutes later on about the volunteers needed, because it's critical. There's no way of showing the Ann's Place activities better than the video that you have for us. So it's a 4-minute video. If the directors would please roll it now, and then we'll come back with questions and answers.
I came to Ann's Place when my husband was in hospice, struggling in his last days of a glioblastoma.
When I started coming to Ann's Place, my husband had just been told by his doctors that there was no more treatments available.
She passed away from brain cancer when I was 6. But what I hear from my dad is that she was like one of the kindest people in the world.
I was diagnosed in 2021 with stage 4 breast cancer. It was a shock. It was 19 years after my first diagnosis.
I realized at that time, for the first time, I'd always been there for everybody. I'd always been there, the strong one, and taking care of everyone, that I could not do this on my own. I did not have what it took to get through this and be there, for him. And I came to Ann's Place.
It feels kind of relaxing talking to Martha, because I can get all I want to say out to her and not have to worry about what I say.
So in the beginning, I loved that I was assigned a grief counselor. I had never heard of such a thing, that was a very specific role, and that meant so much to me.
At Ann's Place, everybody's so welcoming when you first come in, and they just treat you like your family. So you just always feel like you're welcome there, and you can talk to them about anything.
For me, in the beginning, words were so difficult, and to understand that grief was also a bodily experience, and that there are ways to help yourself move through it, was such an important revelation.
I'm in the Living Well group with incurable and stage 4, and also they have a breast cancer stage 4 that I'm in. But there were other things that Ann's Place offered, that it was drumming, it was the food courses, acupuncture, which I love. Mahjong is my big thing now that I do at Ann's Place.
The horticultural programs, yeah.
Grief yoga.
Okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed Reiki too,
I like to draw a lot here and paint, and I really love doing art in the art room.
The community I found at Ann's Place, and with you all outside at Ann's Place, just became literally my lifeline.
There were 12 core women, and to this day I'm friends with many of
And
them.
it's just so gratifying to find people that actually understand what you're going through in life at this particular time in your life. So I'm just really feel blessed. I really feel blessed to have you both in my life.
You need something at a very difficult time in your life. Someone has passed from cancer, in our case, and it's rugged territory, and Ann's Place just knows the way. They're like great leaders and guides through a very difficult time.
Simply put, for me, Ann's Place is a peaceful sanctuary.
I'd like to say I'm happy when I'm here.
So if you feel like you can't get out there and you can't talk to anybody, don't think that about Ann's Place, because Ann's Place is amazing, and they'll help you with anything you need and give you great advice for life overall.
Ann's Place does not ask anything from us. We come to them, and they give so much to us during a time when we just don't have much to give, and it's been everything to me. Yeah.
I'm so grateful that this has been here for me. I don't know how I would have gotten through this otherwise.
Ann's Place is a safe place, my safe place.
Thank you for supporting Ann's Place. We really appreciate your help.
video this morning for the first time, I had a tear in my eyes, and it's hard. Beatrix, the young lady whose mother passed away when she was 6 years old, it just takes your heart away. It's very sad. And I wrote down as I was watching this video again, some words that I heard. I'm going to have both of you kind of talk about the words that were expressed that I thought were important, and connect that to what you do. So when we ask you these questions, just run with the question as you like, because my view is the less I say today, it's better for you guys to speak. So the first word I wanted to use is, Beatrice said she finds Anne's place to be relaxing. I'm thinking to myself, she's probably like 10 or 12, I'm going to guess, in that picture. I don't know how old she is. Relaxing. How does Anne's place go about getting a young girl like that, who lost her mother at age 6, to feel relaxed?
Oh, wow. Well, it's really dependent on the child and what they like, the things they want to do. Our clinicians that work with the kids will find out a little bit in advance from the parents some of the hobbies that they like. The boys and some of the girls might like more sports things. You saw her playing foosball. She also obviously likes art, so they'll take her to the rooms in our facility that they can play. They could do some of those activities while talking to the therapist. It's just a much more relaxing way for kids. They don't sit in chairs like this and have conversations with adults like we would have in a therapy session.
Foosball is a fun game.
It is.
I used to, when my kids were younger, in high school, for example, the kids all came to our house, and we had a room that was the kids' room. Actually, it's called the Duke room. If the Duke game is going on, you can't make any noise because that's where the big screen TV is, et cetera. But the kids are hooting and hollering. And you can even see as she's playing foosball, it's taking her mind off where it is. Ua, someone used the word lifeline. Someone used the word lifeline as to how Anne's place, it was that lady's lifeline. Talk about that. Talk about how that makes you feel that the place where you're working now, someone who has had cancer, which that lady did, feels like it's a lifeline, and what you do to contribute to help that person feel that way.
Right. So for me, what I think about is how all it takes is one person to make a difference in someone's life. And at Anne's Place, you have a community of not just the staff, but others who've also on their own individual cancer journey, who share similar experiences and are inviting. And everyone feels like one big family at Anne's Place when they come through our doors. Even if you're new, you're still part of the family. And everyone's very intentful in doing so. And I think that makes a difference in making everyone feel welcome when they stop by and interact with our team.
And plus you have good leadership, and Shannon's very humble. And she's the first to say, well, it's everybody else, but Shannon has a leadership quality and a friendliness that I think exudes that, and people who work as volunteers or employees get that exuberance, and I think it builds on that way as well. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. It starts from the top and works its way down, and I think we all are united in making sure that we make the place inviting and welcoming to anyone who comes to us. So
we
really
have a phenomenal team, though.
Really do.
There's no I in team. I knew you were going to throw that in.
We have a phenomenal
There is no
team.
I in team. We'll get to that in a second. Let me ask you this question. You said you've been there for 10 years. How did Anne's Place begin, briefly? What's the history of that?
So there actually were two social workers, Mary Burke and Pat Bragdon, and they saw a need in the community for psychosocial support for people facing cancer. It was very revolutionary at the time. That was they incorporated in 1991. We just lost Mary Burke, actually. We have a little thing in our annual report that we're about to send out honoring her. And so that was way back then. Across town there was another organization called the Ann Olson Endowment. They were raising money to help cancer patients and their families financially because of the toll on their finances. And Dr. Bob Cooper,
I know of him.
a local oncologist
Right.
at the time, and he said, you guys got to work together. And so they started working together, and that evolved into Anne's Place Home If I Can, and then evolved into Anne's Place. But two people that said, you know what, we need to help people, we need to be there emotionally for them, not just physically, long before that became a regular thing in the country.
The new facility you have now, was that built during your tenure, the 10 years, or
No.
no? So it was there beforehand?
It was, yeah, it opened in 2012.
And is that, but was there a facility before that, or was that after the merge, after the idea from Dr. Cooper?
They rented
I
space
see.
all over. They moved to a couple different locations
see,
through
I
the
see.
years. But it was always a dream of the original founders to have a permanent place for Ann's Place. And so they made it come to life. It took them 5 years to build it, even longer if you count the years it took them to raise the money. But it is a gorgeous facility, and I'm glad you were able to come and see it.
Yeah, I've been there several times, and also you have great gardens too. How do the gardens get utilized at all? How is that availability helpful to what your mission at the facility?
Well, the way I look at it, especially during the springtime, it's honestly gorgeous out there.
It is.
And going through that Zen garden, just going from my own personal experience, it really feels like you can center in on your own thoughts and appreciate just being there, being alive. And that's what you want. You want to be able to enjoy life as is and not always be worried or feel like you have to be on edge. And that is a great setting to just explore.
It really is, and nature has a way. I had some guests, my best friend from college, he and his wife came a couple weeks ago to Connecticut. They live in California, and they were in awe of how much green we have.
Mhm.
You know, they lived in a town near San Francisco, and there's a highway that was near them, a little farther south, and a tree, there's a 4-lane highway or a 6-lane highway, and a tree went across the highway and burned the other side of the highway. So they don't have a lot of green, and right now they have a drought out there. And people don't appreciate in Connecticut how much greenery we have, and you know, when it rains, it pours, we say, oh, it's terrible. But you go to your garden, you wouldn't have the garden you have. And even Beatrix, the young lady we had on the video, she was walking there by herself, and it gave her some peace, which is an important part of what you have. Another word that was utilized, and we're jumping around because that's what we always do. One person mentioned family. I think it was also Beatrix who mentioned that. What do you do, Shannon, to try to encourage a family culture? You mentioned a little bit about it a few moments ago, but talk more about how you try to create a family.
Well, you know, a lot of it is done in the support groups, but also in, you know, bringing people together with commonalities in their treatment or in what their experiences are. The 3 women who had become such good friends in that video were all in our bereavement programs. They'd all lost someone dear to
They
them.
lost.
Yes, so
Because some of
yeah.
them, one or more have had cancer herself, I think it was.
Yeah, and
But-
Lenore was the one in there with stage 4 cancer. What I'm the one that does the video, and I get to interview our clients, and I do one every year, and it's one of the best experiences I have at Ann's Place, is getting to really dive in. I wish I could have included everything from Lenore.
Was she the acupuncture lady? Was that the acupuncture lady?
Lenore, yeah, the one that likes acupuncture and mahjong and all of those. Her doctor gave her 1 year of life left, not long ago. And she is one of the most upbeat, happy people. And she said to me, Shannon, if I only have a 1% chance at life, I'm gonna live fully in that 1%. And that just struck me. And you know, I just had so many beautiful things that she said during our interview that didn't fit into the video, but she's such an impressive person. And that's, when you talk about community, you bring somebody like that into a room of other stage 4 cancer patients, and they support each other. She is a light to her group, and they adore her. And it lifts everybody up. And so all of our groups do that, some more than others. A lot of our bereavement program, especially bereavement, because when you lose somebody that you've been the caregiver for, you have a massive hole in your life, in your schedule, things that you used to just were filled because you were taking them to doctors, you were caring for them, and now it's such an emptiness. And so they come to Anne's Place and they find others experiencing that, and then they get together between their support groups. The Spanish support groups are also very close together. They support each other between sessions, especially our couples support group, supporting couples who are struggling in their relationships because of the cancer, and helping coach them on how to date with cancer, how to
Dating with cancer.
dating
When
together.
You're meeting a nice lady, for example, or you a nice guy or whatever, and when do you tell the person, oh, by the way, I have cancer?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
is that the first day or the fifth day, or you don't tell them until so there's that kind of help and guidance.
Right.
You're talking about Lenore, and I don't know how old she is, but I think I've told this before, that over last 25 years, when I read a book, if I find an interesting topic or a quote, I'll put it in my little quotations book, and I have it categorized, can you imagine, by topic, whatever. And one of my favorites is about Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, number 42. And that quote was, "It's not the number of years you have lived, it's the number of lives you have touched in the years that you have lived." It's not the number of years you have lived, it's the number of lives you have touched in the years that you have lived. And so you're talking about this lady Lenore, as someone comes in the door, and it's their first visit, and either they lost a spouse, or their mommy or daddy or whatever, or they just got the word that they have cancer, which I can't imagine what it must be like at the doctor's office, telling, like Dr. Cooper, telling someone that, or being the recipient of that. How do you handle? I'm not sure if that's something you do, if I should ask you the question, or if I should ask Shannon, but how do you handle some person the first day coming into Anne's Place to talk about dealing with the problems you have? Who wants that question?
No, I feel comfortable answering that.
Go ahead. See, I'm helpful. I choose who you want.
You know,
Well, you get to ask me a question at the end of the show. Each one of you gets one question to ask me a question.
Oh.
Oh, exciting. Because you know what it is? There was a woman actually a couple months back. She had just recently started coming to Anne's Place, and she had all these questions and concerns and trying to get back into the workforce. And the way I look at it is, we are all our own individual. And if you meet someone at a personal level and comfort them in knowing that, hey, we can always reinvent ourselves, we can always grow as people, I feel people in general resonate with that, and we do a great job as a team, along with those who come to Anne's Place in general, whether they're receiving services or they're volunteering, to emphasize that. And it's just meeting people where they're at and making them feel as if they're at home.
Coach K of Duke, I'm a Duke law grad and big Duke basketball fan, always says, turn the next page. You know, you can look back and say, woulda, coulda, shoulda, whatever, or as Carrie Bradshaw said in Sex and the City, don't shoulda all over yourself. Don't shoulda all over yourself. But shoulda, that's S-H-O-U-L-D-A, shoulda all over yourself. But he always said, turn the next page. And what you're saying essentially, is that, okay, we have this diagnosis situation. How do we do the next page? Do you want to add to that at all, Shannon?
I would say that we have a phenomenal group of clinicians that when someone first comes to Anne's Place, they get to do an intake with a clinician, and that clinician will spend as much time with them as they need. And some people, it's a 20-minute just to get registered and learn about the programs, and then others, it's an hour and a half, and there's tears and there's frustrations, and we meet them where they are. But I always see the change in clients after they've come to Anne's Place for a few times, and you see the smile and that reduction of anxiety and stress. That's our goal.
If I could have my director go back to that picture you just had on of my firm and 10 other people, I just want to tie that into it. So when it gets back on, we'll show that. Oh, here it is. One of the activities you have, I'm going to get into your fundraising in a few moments, is the 5K walk race. And I've walked that probably 6 or 7 years in a row, at least that much. And you can see the goober guy, that's me in the back, with the only one who didn't have the white shirt. But two of the people in that picture, and this is my firm, are cancer survivors. And one lady who is a cancer survivor is not pictured there, but that's how we bring it out to the smiles, because that activity, when you have your 5K race and To me, the most fun part is before the 5K race, whenever when you see, hey, I haven't seen you in a while kind of thing. And then after the race, when you have your burger, I'm sure that's what the burger, and you're limited to 3 burgers, right? But they
Gotta
have
watch
burger,
me with the burgers.
That's right, burgers and hot dogs and things, and you're talking to people you haven't seen. So it's a community effort, and it's all about the volunteers that you have who help out. But before I do that, I just wanted 2 more quick things, and that is, you mentioned, Shannon, that you have certain groups in the facility at Ann's Place, and one group that was mentioned in the video was one of the ladies was belonging to the Living Well group. I love that, Living Well group, which ties in, I think, to the Jackie Robinson quote. Tell me, what does a Living Well group mean? Is it wine tasting, or what are the
It's Living Well with Cancer, stage 4 cancer. So everybody in that group has stage 4 cancer. Stage 4 cancer is a strange place now because so many treatments prolong life significantly, but they're all in trial. So you may get a stage 4 diagnosis and you may have 20 more years. You'll always have cancer, you'll always be in treatment, but the treatments have been so amazing. You just get on another trial, and when that one stops working, you get on another trial, and sometimes that can go on for quite some time. But as you can imagine, the emotional ups and downs in stage 4, regardless of how many years you have left, you may think you have a year left, and then suddenly there's a new treatment. Oh, well, you've got 5 more years after that. So it's a pretty intense group and a very close group as well.
Part of my practice has been I did personal injury work, and I had a case one time where the personal injury means someone got hurt in like a car accident case or a fall down case, that kind of thing. And there was a lady who was like 85 or something, and in the jury system, if you're older than 70, I think it is, you get a priority in terms of having your case come sooner. And one of the defense counsel, I was the plaintiff's counsel, seeking recovery. You can never put someone back. Well, if you broke your leg, you'll never unbreak the leg, but the pain and suffering you can get recoveries for. And one of the lawyers said on the other side, the defense side said, well, she's only 80, she's 85, how many more years she have to live? And my comment was, if you're 85, that 1 more year is more important to you than when you were 26. And that goes to what you're talking about, the person who thinks they have 1 year to live, you try to help them enjoy that 1 year. Maybe it gets longer than 1 year, but enjoy that 1 year as the best 1 year life. That's what you're talking about, that kind of activity. So these are the Living Well group is ladies and men trying to work together to try to help encourage someone to enjoy their life. You mentioned about the trials, and I was just thinking, quite frankly, you'll say it's a little political, but that's okay. I'm thinking that it must be the ups and downs you talked about is, hey, I have a chance for this new trial I qualified for, and you get excited about that, and then the down maybe doesn't work for you and it's something else you were talking about. Well, that's why it's important to have continued research. And we have, I call him a boob, that's my word, not yours, Robert Kennedy Jr., who doesn't believe in research and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure people who are in stage 4 or whatever, if they read the papers and whatever, and they say, wait a minute, we're not going to fund cancer research. Are you kidding me? So I'm not asking the political side of it, but I'm asking you both about the emotional side. If you have any comments about that, Ua? You don't have to have a comment.
Yeah, I feel it's challenging when it comes to our health system and what is important or should be a focus. And when it comes to research, yeah, I'm full for there needs to be more research. It's through discovery that change happens. So we see how that impacts someone's life, and if they have a diagnosis which they're expecting maybe 1 more year and a discovery happens that ties to their form of cancer, that can change their life for the better, and the sooner the better.
So it's an emotional high.
Yeah.
And so I'm not asking from the political side, although you know my politics on that. I'd fire the guy tomorrow. But the point is that if you have that, hey, there's a new thing coming out, maybe, right? And any comment about that, Shannon?
Well, I would encourage government to think of consistency in funding research. A lot of these studies take years and years and years, and if you interrupt the funding stream, it could mess up a whole study. So, supporting the studies. They do make a huge difference, especially for our stage 4 cancer clients and patients, but also to keep it steady. You know, from one administration to another, you can't keep swinging it one direction or the other, because those studies take a long time to put together.
Dr. Fauci's book. I read Dr. Fauci's book. I don't know if you've read it. Excellent book. I think he's one of the great Americans of my generation. In his book, he was very heavily involved in AIDS research from years before the COVID came about. And he was talking about how some of the research had been done unrelated to COVID years before COVID ever came about, or was ever became the big issue, was in 2020, et cetera, was research that was done earlier times. Oh, wait a minute, that applies to this, we can use some, and they use certain things, certain research to augment the COVID vaccine that came out. So it's important what you're all saying in that regard. I want to get to this, and we said twice so far that at no charge. Well, at no charge may mean you don't charge the customer, the consumer, whatever, but there's money it takes to run your organization. I want to spend a fair amount of time. Do not want to gloss over this. I want to make sure we have time to talk about this. But you do need fundraising, and you do have some great activities that you do. Talk to me first of all, generally, Shannon, the need to have fundraising before we get into the activities themselves.
There's so much pressure on our clients, financially, emotionally, all of that, that this has always been an important element of Ann's Place from the beginning, that they get charged nothing, and when they come in, there's less barriers to care. So they don't need to have insurance. We don't bill insurance for anything that gets in the way of keeping it free. And so that's always been at the core of our mission. But how do you do that? And the only way to get that is through the community. So we have about 4,000 people who donate to Ann's Place every year. We have to raise about $1.7 million in order to serve about 114 people, about 114 people last year. I'm sorry, 1,014 people.
I was going to correct you, but I didn't want to. One more zero.
I added that zero, I know. And so it's a lot of people that are involved. If they're not a donor, we have 800 volunteers, and so many of our volunteers get involved with our events. It was on our event team as well as outreach, so he's involved with a lot of that. And just getting people involved. It is a community organization. We would not exist without those donors, without the grants we get. And without our volunteers.
We'll talk a little bit about the volunteers, the different kinds of things volunteers do. And the list is going to be longer than a 3-hour show, but just highlight just general areas that volunteers provide services, and then we get to the fundraising activities. So talk about the volunteer work.
Yeah, so we have volunteers who help us out at fairs and expos in order to share information about Ann's Place. Or it could be going out and about and providing flyers or information on different services to a new community that may not be aware that Ann's Place is around as a resource that could impact somebody they know who is facing cancer. And the beauty of it, it doesn't just stop at the individual facing cancer. It also is the surrounding loved ones get support as well, from the kids, the partner, the caregiver, and it's important for people to know that. We have goals to do presentations as well to different groups, whether that's a civic group or more corporate organization. The list goes on. There's many different groups we can reach out to, whether it's in healthcare, different corporate facilities, and more. And everyone brings their talents to the table in order to do so.
The outreach is very important, and in fact, I like to have you back at least once or twice a year, as I do, because this show today is live streamed today, but it's being taped. It'll be shown at 7 p.m. I'm not sure which week it's coming on for tape delay on channel 23 of Comcast, but I have a regular slot Tuesday nights on Comcast, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., and then Wednesday mornings, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., where this show will be shown. But also, even more important than that, is you'll be getting a link to the show, and you can put the link on your websites and your own social media, et cetera, so that the word gets out. Because when you're involved in an organization, people who are interested in the election right now think everyone wants to worry about voting. That's not true. People don't all think about that. So whatever group you belong to, it doesn't always happen. So you have to get the word out. And outreach means whatever way you can get the word out, including this show, so people know about it, both to contribute, to volunteer, but also to realize that, hey, there's this group. There might be someone who tomorrow will get a diagnosis of cancer and doesn't even know about Ann's Place, and they're in the area you're trying to market and service. Hey, someone's cousin's brother, sister, uncle said, hey, I was watching the show and I learned about Ann's Place. So that's where the outreach comes in for all those factors, correct, Shannon?
Absolutely, and volunteers are instrumental. Every time we do a presentation, I tell everybody that we're presenting to, you're now part of our marketing committee. Congratulations, as you now are too, Bob, and anybody watching. Go out and tell people about Ann's Place. That's how the word gets out. We also have volunteers that help in so many other ways. Our grounds, those beautiful gardens you talked about earlier, volunteers take care of them. We have 36 pro bono staff that come in, including a doctor who does acupuncture, all of our yoga masters, our Reiki masters, Tai Chi, art, writing workshops, a bunch of other things, as well as some clinicians that donate their time
If
as well.
somebody wants to do something in your group, I'm sure what happens is they tell somebody, I'm a member, I'm here at Ann's Place, I'd like to have a class about chess. I don't know if you have a chess group, but we want to play chess, and if people are interested in doing it and teaching it, there you go. And so that's how the volunteer program. I know some people, maybe even in this room, who are very happy that on their birthday there's a donation made to Ann's Place instead of giving a gift. I won't mention who the recipient would be or who the donor would be, but it's whatever you can do, because every nickel and every dollar helps. So let's now get to the fundraising activities. My favorite is the 5K. So when is the 5K this year?
August 20th.
Yeah.
Okay, you know off the top of your head.
Yep.
And it's at 6 o'clock is when the race starts at Amber Room, I bet you, again in Danbury?
Yep, at the Amber Room.
But get there early, because there's no parking if you get there too close to 6.
Even Bob B.O. doesn't get a reserved parking spot. There's no valet parking. I usually try to get there by 5:30 or so, because it's actually a lot of fun to go early to see who's there and get a hug from Shannon, which is, if you come after 5:45, there's no hug from Shannon, so you got to come earlier. So about how many participants did you have last year?
We had over 630 participants. I want to say about 40 were in the UK who participated, so people can even participate virtually. We even sent them shirts.
Right, tell me, you had a virtual run in UK, in England?
Yep.
Yep.
Whose idea was that?
So that was part of a division of Waterworks, who's our presenting sponsor.
Yes.
For the 5K, and
that's awesome.
People love to support a good cause, and what better way to do it through running for a good cause?
I'll take a shower before I run in case I get my picture on TV. So the money comes in by the people who run, right? Other donations that come into that, is it just people? It's just organizations that sponsor it, and then people, if you run for a team, you're part of the sponsorship. But some just come and donate money, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, we get some donations, but it's mostly sponsorships, also the runner fees, as well as runners who are raising money. The good thing about becoming a team that's raising money is you actually get your runner fees waived if you raise over $100. And it's almost a $50 ticket. It's like $45, $48 with tax and all that. So if you raise $100, get someone else to pay for your ticket.
Oh, so it's essentially about $50 to get a ticket to participate in the event. The dinner, I'm sure a large part of that goes to the profits versus the costs. And then, but if you sell more than $100 in tickets, there you go. And you prefer that because, first of all, it's a little bit more money, but second of all, you want more people to be involved. So next year you'll have a lot more people. So that's a great event you have. And the police are always great. And there's always people, like here in the marathon, there's people along the way and they're offering you water and that kind of thing. You don't do a Kramer from Seinfeld where you get a hot cup of water handed to you. You got to be careful about that. So that's one of your fundraisers. Another one I'm familiar with is the is the model, the fashion show. I've never been asked to be a model, that's okay. But actually I've gone a couple years where I went to say hello and then I left, others from my firm go to it. That's at the Playhouse typically in Richfield, right?
Yes, and there's usually around like 30 models that will raise money for Ann's Place. Many of the models know somebody with cancer, or they're walking on in honor or memory of somebody, and they raise as much money as they can, and it really is competitive. They start competing with each other on who can raise the most, and then we have a comedian, Christine O'Leary.
She's hysterical.
She is really funny.
I saw her one time with Alison Stockel several years ago, where you had it and your candle, your holiday lights. What do you call that holiday event?
Festival of Trees.
Festival of Trees. Okay, thank you. And Christina was there, and Stockel was there, and Rudy Marconi, I think, was being the person they were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was just very, very funny. We'll get to that one in a second. So the fashion show, the models then will say, for example, they'll have people donate money to support them. So the model is walking in whatever clothes they're wearing, and they've raised money. I didn't know that was part of it.
Yeah, they raised a lot of money. This year they broke all records. I believe it was $125,000 that the models alone had raised. And then we had a Fund the Need during the event, which raised another 30-something, and an auction and a raffle. And by the time the whole thing was done, whoosh, what were we at? Now it's like...
The final total, I think it was 302?
302, yes.
$302,000.
$302,000. It was absolutely a record-breaker year.
And it takes a lot of work. I'm sure you plan that for a very, very long time to get that done. So those two fundraisers. We have the Festival of Trees. Is there anything else before the Festival of Trees? I want to hold that to the end. What else do you have besides that one? Any other?
Through the Lens.
Yep.
What's Through the Lens?
So Through the Lens is a photography series where we pair cancer survivors with a makeup and hairstylist and a photographer free of charge. The makeup and hairstylist gets them dolled up, and then the photographer captures them in their chosen scenery, whether it's indoors or outdoors. And we have a couple of those portraits actually over here.
Why don't you point that out?
Yeah, so this first one is Miranda Mantello. She lives in Meriden, Connecticut, and she chose to have her picture taken.
1 second, please. I wonder if the camera can get a picture. There it is.
Go.
Thank
Yep.
you. Want to start again from the top?
Yeah, so this right here is Miranda Mantello. She's from Meriden, Connecticut, and she chose to have her picture taken at the Heritage Hotel, which is where the event is hosted. This will be the third annual Through the Lens this year, but she's from our second year group. And her
What's the second year group mean? I'm sorry.
Each year we've had a different group of models. Year one we had 10 models. Year two we had 16 models from over 11 cities, 8 photographers, 5 salons. It really was a group effort, and that consisted of all over Connecticut and parts of New York. So she's from Meriden. Her picture was taken by Uniquely Yours Photography. Her hair and makeup was done, I believe, from Adam Broderick.
Broderick, that's of course in Richfield.
Yep, and they also have a location in Southbury as well.
Oh, that's right, you're right. I'm sorry, you're right.
And then behind that one is Billy Frozell from Brewster, New York. She was another person who was facing cancer from our year 2 group. And behind that,
you mentioned New York, so you get a lot of people from New York. I think as I recall, Shannon, you told me several days ago that what's it, 20% from New York? What's the percent?
About 14%.
14, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, from the Putnam County and North Westchester areas. And then behind that is Perry Kilman. And
I bet you that's Santa Claus. Is that Santa Claus?
Oh, ho, ho, Merry Christmas.
You can't get any past Bobby O, huh? I tell you what.
Yeah.
Was he a cancer survivor, or is he a cancer survivor?
He is. So he's another cancer survivor.
That's a first class uniform. That's not your sloppy little thing. That's a real.
He's a real good Santa.
Wow.
He does Santa at our Festival of Trees as well, and spends the entire weekend there, often with Mrs. Claus, his wife, and the two of them will sit and they talk to the kids, and they're just very interactive, wonderful people.
We'll have to get Hanukkah Harry there next year, perhaps.
There you go.
Is that Festival of Trees, by the way?
That's Festival, yes. That's one of the families that came, and you can see some of the trees behind them. We have 150 trees donated from people in the community. They decorate their own tree. Some people decorate a tree in memory of someone. Sometimes it's around their business or around a theme that they like. We had someone that did Matchbox cars all over their tree because they liked Matchbox cars. So it's very creative, and you can just go through and observe the trees, and then there's raffle prizes and entertainment and food and shopping and lots of things
I
to
think
do.
my law firm usually does a tree. I think they do a tree.
Yeah, I think they have in the
They-
past. I
yeah,
don't know
they-
if every year, but
They've done it, and the ladies, especially in the office, really get into that. Really, because it's a lot of fun things. So that's the Festival of Trees. Getting back to the other event you were talking about, though, is
Yep.
did you finish that one?
Yeah, so those were a few models from last year's group. This year we're looking to have about 20 to 25 models, and it's continuing to grow. And it's an amazing event because it highlights different individuals on their own individual cancer journey, but still doing incredible things. And it's important to share those stories, that people understand that, hey, these are people living in your communities who are going through it, but see them now.
Is this the Santa Claus in a different outfit?
Yep, that's
Yes.
very.
And what
okay,
event is
Santa.
what event is that? That's which.
these are all the models from last year.
Yep.
I don't see any guy 6'2" or taller in that group. Do I?
Yeah, we had two guys last year, Perry Kilman and Gary Feld.
I was referring to Uwa, who's at least 6'6".
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
And-
6'6".
and I'm six-
Thankfully,
and
it
I'm-
was not a survivor.
and thank God, and a lot of reasons. And I'm 6'2", so I was just teasing if there's. And I don't see any men there. We have to get some men involved in this thing.
Yeah, luckily each year we've had like at least one. Last year we had two. This year, not yet do we have a male, but you know,
Keep working on it.
we're working on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So, what other festivities do you have for fundraisers besides what you've mentioned so far? But I'm going to lead into the Festival of Trees. Anything else that you have?
We have a golf tournament.
Yep, the
Golf
golf tournament is coming up on Monday, June 22nd.
It's coming up.
At Richter Park.
On a
we
Monday?
have-
It's on a
yep,
Monday?
On a Monday. We have 128 golfers who participate in that event on the green.
Is this a new thing for you guys, a golf tournament? No, you've had it for a while?
No, this one, yeah, we've had for a long time.
I don't play golf, so actually
Yeah.
you wouldn't want me on the course because I'd probably do more divots than anything else. Do you play the golf tournament, Shannon?
No,
Good.
no, I'm afraid not.
Okay. But that's a fundraiser you have every year. I wasn't aware of
Yeah.
that. 120 participants, that's a lot of foursomes.
Yep,
Yep.
yeah,
To do
32
400,
foursomes.
I was going to say, I was going to divide it in my head, it's 32 foursomes. And
Yeah.
then there's other things that people participate in making money for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we haven't done enough as far as I'm concerned with the Festival of Trees. So tell me a little bit more about the Festival of Trees. It's a several-day event. Talk
Yeah.
about that, please.
Well, it's a 3-day event, and it brings in probably 5,000 people from all over the area.
5,000 people
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, that attend.
1,650 people a day if you divide by 3, just in
There you
case.
go.
Just in case you want to know that.
Probably the most on Sunday. And it takes about 500 volunteers. It's a great event to volunteer for. Our volunteers are extremely loyal to it. We've literally had volunteers fly in who had moved away, but they didn't want to miss volunteering for the festival. So they'll come in. We have a couple families that make it a family reunion every year, where family members come in and they'll go to it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is just really a community effort to infuse love and support into families that are facing cancer. It is our largest fundraiser financially as well. Last year was around $365,000. Only the fashion show has come even close to it. But it is really just an event that everyone can participate in. Unlike like a gala that costs a lot of money, you can get into the festival for $10. So it's really, whether you want to come to the evening event, which costs a little more, or just come for the day, it's something everybody can participate in.
Which is the evening event? That's a Saturday night?
Yeah, we have a Saturday night Jingle and Mingle.
Yep.
What's a jingle and mingle mean?
You just be merry.
Yeah, so we have a variety of different beer and alcoholic vendors that show up and do tastings, including food as well. So yeah, being merry around food and drink, and
Yeah.
really is an awesome experience. We get around 400 to somewhere between 400 and 600 people attend just for that evening.
Do you serve Diet Dr. Pepper, which is my drink?
We'll have a Dr. Pepper for you,
Yeah,
Bob.
okay, thank you very much. I guess it's the big, I guess we have the kids table, right? So the big plate, we have the
That's
kids,
right.
put Bobby on the kids table. We have less than 5 minutes. This time goes by very, very quickly. Before, I think we're pretty much done with the fundraising. Oh, I know what we want. I want to know if people want to find out about your fundraising activities or about Ann's Place, and since you're a 501c3 organization, a nonprofit, we can mention the fundraising activities. Shannon, would you please tell us the website that people can go to learn more about you and UA and the activities you do? Oh, it's right on there. Is that it?
Yes,
AnsPlace.org?
AnsPlace.org.
Yeah.
That's
Boy,
it.
my directors are right on top of this. And
That's
people don't
great.
know there's 4 people or 5 people we have in studio running this whole show.
They do an excellent job.
They do. They make me look good sometimes. But so it's ansplace.org, ANNSPLACE.org, and all this material can come out about whatever you do and
Yeah.
how to reach out to you, et cetera. And if you call the front desk of your office, I'm sure that people will answer any questions and help you in all those different issues. COVID had an impact on our lives. Some good, some not so good. But I think, as I understand it from Ann's Place, there were some positives from COVID in terms of getting outreach. You want to talk about that, Ula?
So I joined after COVID, but one positive effect I would say probably did come about from it is that over 90% of our programs are hybrid. So people can take advantage of our programs and resources, whether from the comfort of their home or coming in person. And I think that's very valuable because sometimes when someone is facing cancer, they're just limited in their ability to be mobile and be able to join your yoga group or your Zumba and more from the comfort of your home, or your support group. I feel like that it's allowed more accessibility in a positive way to keep everyone involved and engaged with our wonderful community.
Some people, it's harder to get out, and it's easier for them to do it in
Yeah.
Zoom. I'm going to ask each of you to tell a story. I don't think I told you you were going to be asked this question, but I always throw a few zingers, and not a zinger, but just a few things that we haven't discussed. Shannon, tell me a story or two that you want to talk about in terms of your experience working at Ann's Place that was such a heart-rending, positive feeling for you. You can pick a story out if you like. I know it's probably hard when you have so many.
Well, you know, one of the things I was thinking about when we were talking through this show is how many of our clients become volunteers and the healing that happens because of that volunteerism. When you give back, your body changes. You have endorphins. There's a thing called the helper's high, where there's chemicals in our body that when we're helping somebody else, we literally feel better, both physically and mentally. And so I think when you talk about clients who've gone through the trauma of cancer treatment, which is very traumatic, and they get to the other side, there's still that almost like a PTSD from it. They get to volunteer, it's just a very healing experience. Or if they've lost somebody to cancer. We had a family that each year after their loved one passed, they would bring a full Thanksgiving dinner for another family that they never got to meet, but they knew somebody would get to open it up and have that meal. The volunteers that come each year for our Christmas event, the Festival of Trees, so many of them have stories of healing through volunteering.
That's a very interesting
Yeah.
perspective. Uwa, how about any story you want to talk about, or you don't have to share, just if it's something that's on your mind that you want to talk about that really was inspiring to you and makes you come back for more and do what you do?
We have a couple that are volunteers of Ann's Place who both lost their partners from cancer, and seeing them go out and about, they help us get a ton of raffle and auction items for our events, especially through the lens, and seeing them, seeing what they faced and where they are at now and doing incredible things, it really empowers what we're doing at Ann's Place, and turning the page, allowing yourself to continue to do great things even after the challenges you face. And they're inspiring to me and motivates me to be who I am for our community. So
You two folks are awesome. I'm so honored to meet you first time, Ua and Shannon. It's always a pleasure seeing you and talk about what the work you do. And you know, I just will say this final point, and that one of the ladies that I said was a cancer survivor, talk about heroes. This lady's been through so many operations. I tell her she's my hero. Shannon, Cobb, Ua, Osagie.
Osagie.
Osagie, thank you. Thank you very much for the work you do. I really appreciate what you do, and thank you for coming on the show. We'll have you guys back sooner than later. This has been Bob Potsner on The Bobby O Show for Ann's Place, and remember the dedication I did for Melissa Steidel.